My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
That's just not right, you know? That's just not even right. But you knew it. You knew it. You knew it. Look, if you're going to be late, you got to be fashionably late, all right? You know what I'm saying? How's everybody doing today, you know? Living the dream, loving the dream? Whatever they want to say. Whatever the cool kids say, anyway. Cool, oh my God, we got everybody in here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. My love. I totally trolled the internet, by the way. I don't really have any big announcements. I just wanted to see if anybody would show up. No, I'm kidding. No, we're not doing that. It's the wrong show. Wrong show. You're trying to get me fucking pulled already? Canceled? Where's Jarek? That's the news. That's the news. That's the announcement we're gonna make. We're gonna talk about that. So you had to verify your age on YouTube? That's a shame. Wait, don't make me sad. Is he okay? I mean, I guess it depends. As far as I know, he's alive and breathing. But moving forward, Jarek and I will not be doing a podcast together. Last week at some point, I got a message randomly in the middle of the night that said Jarek lost his phone privileges and he's not allowed to be my friend, and we are not allowed to do the podcast anymore. So that's really the only announcement that I have. Is moving forward, it's going to be me solo, I guess, which is okay. You know, if you got any questions, you should ask Debbie, because Debbie was the one that was texting me from Jarek's phone number. I wish I could say psych. I can't say psych. It's not my business. Nothing that I can do make any different. Make anything different. It's not that I can change anything, because you can't change who you are. Some people just don't like you. You're not everybody's cup of tea, you know? So, kind of is what it is. It's going to be sad to not... It's going to be sad to not be friends with Jarek. I don't want to lose that friendship. Never wanted to lose that friendship, but also at the same time, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to make your loved one happy. So I also understand. Like, I get the psychology behind it. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. It is quite all right. I totally support Jarek and whatever he does. And I just want to see the guy happy. So it doesn't matter if it's being friends with me, being on a podcast. You know, it is what it is. I hope that he finds that happiness. And I hope he's able to maintain his individuality and that he's happy. That's the only thing that I care about. But yeah, moving forward, there will be no show with Jarek. We'll take that into the first of the year, you know, as a life-changing event. and we'll move on from there. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, it will not be Jarek and I running together any longer. It is just going to be me. Currently, I don't have any running mates in mind because I don't want to add a female to the ticket because they'll just drag my presidential candidacy down. That's a joke, but it's going to be clipped. Yeah, Suterus is going to make its own run to the White House, or I might be on the same ticket as him. So, you know, it is what it is. And then together we'll make the country great again. Or wait, that slogan's already taken. Never mind. So nobody's afraid of Danny. That's also going to be clipped. You know, it's also hard to be like in a relationship where people or the other person, the other party wants to control like your every move, who you could be friends with, who you can't be friends with. It's hard to be in a relationship like that. But then, you know, sometimes you make sacrifices for the other person. So, you know, I was in a relationship like that for an extremely long, exorbitant amount of time. And I totally understand. You know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to make the other person happy. But it's not a great relationship, and I don't want to talk about it in that negative light, but you kind of got to let the other person be an individual person and support them. You know what I mean? Support them in whatever they want to do. It's not to say that you can't hate something that they're doing that's toxic or whatever. That's a different story. But you know, the whole reason you're in a committed relationship is because the other person is supposed to be uplifting you. You're supposed to be doing that to them or for them. You know. Yep. It is what it is. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I definitely want to be honest. And the fact of the matter is, so I don't want to come in between that. And that's why it's okay that this is the way that it went down. This is the way that it's going forward. I'm 100% okay with that. Like, you know, he has to make his own choices. That's perfectly fine by me. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he finds happiness and he is able to maintain his individuality and his creative outlets and things like that. But yeah, I don't. I have to be honest in the fact that, you know, when someone tries to control like literally your every move. I mean, I'm not dating my mom, so the fuck you're taking my phone away. That's weird. I'm not gonna pretend like that's not weird. So just kind of is what it is. And I don't know the whole story. I don't know all of it, but for my part's involved in it. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like it's not. I can tell you one thing for sure: the podcast and my friendship with him is never going to be the problem. If you got a problem with who your significant other is friends with, that's you trying to control them. That's not. So I didn't come in between their relationship. The podcast wasn't coming in between their relationship. So it's my opinion. And of course, I wouldn't try to change anyone else's opinion. Like people are allowed to feel however they want. you know. But I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna pretend. That's the thing. I've been in relationships where I didn't like somebody's friend, but I've never went out of my way to come in between their friendship because they're friends for whatever reason. No, it is what it is, though. It's gonna be all right. No, that was the quickest pee I've ever seen in my entire life. Bunny, it's always my fault, which is perfectly okay. I mean, it literally is what it is. I'm moving on and moving forward, so it's not gonna change anything. At least not for me, anyway. Losing a friend in that way sucks. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't, but I didn't do anything, so I'm also not gonna worry about it. Just is what it is at that point. But I mean, some things are just toxic in your life, and I guess getting away from it's really really hard. You can't always get away from everything that's toxic. And I probably am. I probably am toxic. So I would admit it. You know, kind of is what it is. Yeah, Jarek was a really good friend to me. So we're like brothers. No, I'm not trying to make light of the situation. It definitely does suck. I mean, it's gonna suck. It does suck for me. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't, but I can't control it. Can't fix it. Didn't do anything. So I mean, that's their business. Um, there's obviously underlying issues there if I'm, taking the blame. So it's okay. Yep. Yeah. It was it was me being a fly in the fridge. That's what did it. Fucking Buzz. Buzz. No, I mean obviously, I mean he'll be missed. I'm obviously going to miss the friendship too, but I don't have any control over it, so I'm not gonna try to have control over it. I'm not gonna try to fix it. It's not mine to fix. It's not mine that I broke. So we're gonna move forward. We're gonna move on, and that's it. No, I truthfully feel like Dad had there was she thought that, yeah, definitely. Sometimes people are insecure. Sometimes people are insecure, and a lot of it has to do with the sobriety stuff. It's really really hard to convince somebody that's pouring out all their problems into a bottle. So realistically, that's how I feel that the biggest problem is you can't be drunk like that all the time and then not start having insecurities within yourself. You know, it's a disease, but whatever. Yeah, Yeah. That's not for me to do. I mean, that's their relationship. I don't want to. I definitely don't want to come in between that. I don't feel like he's in a situation where he's like getting treated the best, but then I would just be making excuses for Jarek too. And I mean, I don't know what happened between the two of them or how they got to where that they got. I'm not going to make any assumptions or any judgments. I mean, it kind of it's their business. It's not mine. All I can say is I didn't come in between it. So the podcast didn't come in between it. Creating TikToks together didn't come in between it. I mean, she took his phone and deleted all of the Pod Warrior stuff on TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, obviously that was a big catalyst for it, but I kind of don't think that Jarek's creative outlets were the problem. So, Three Eye Atlas. Is that what we're talking about? Where did I see that? I don't remember. Oh, there. I don't think that it's aliens. It can't be, right? It can't be. If it is aliens, then that has some implications. That has some implications. Were we really the first rock to be here? I don't think. I don't think that I'm trying to stop letting you dream. Could be aliens. Could be aliens. I just don't know. Don't know. Well, I mean, uh, like she took his phone, blocked everyone on it. I don't know if he did it or not, but it was funny that she was still friends with me and still following me. And it was most likely because she wanted me to see the content she was going to make that was going to be negative about him. That's why she did it the first time. And I mean, it kind of is what it is. Sad news for her is I'm not going to look at that. There's a lot of things that I want to say, nothing that I care to say. She's toxic. She needs to get sober. She needs to do a lot of therapy. She needs to fix a lot of her own issues before she tries to fix Jarek's. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the sad reality. I don't know. When I honestly think that it might have some serious weird things about it. Like whenever it goes by, what if like the power grid shuts off and it's like an electronic weapon and it is space aliens and they're going to invade us, probe most of us. Sorry you missed the news at the beginning. Jarek and I are no longer friends and we're no longer going to be doing a podcast together, or at least that is what Debbie told me. She said that he lost his phone privileges and that he's not allowed to do the podcast anymore. Of course you are. You already missed the announcement too, so that's your fault. Thanks, I appreciate that. Oh yeah, it's 100% official. Me, I'm gonna step away for myself just because I don't want to be involved in that or be the middleman. Because whenever they start fighting or whatever, when they start fighting or whatever, she'll text me and say things like, "He chose you over our marriage. Good luck. Use that as your podcast sound bites next time," and blah 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 blah. I'm not her therapist. She needs to get into therapy. She needs to fix some of her own problems. She needs to fix it up. I'm not saying that Jarek is potentially innocent or has nothing negative about him or any red flags. Can't say that. I think we all do. But at the end of the day, trying to control everything that your significant other does, who they can talk to, who they can be friends with, if they're making podcasts, if they're making TikToks, how many times has he had to delete his TikTok for her? That's controlling over the thing. I'm gonna say a lot of stuff that's just gonna I'll never be able to come back from. So that is it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation for him. But again, I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope that he finds happiness. I don't think that uh, that is a situation that's going to make him happy. But if it is a situation that ultimately ends up making him happy, I'm happy for him, and I have no problem stepping away from it and not being a further problem. The sad thing is once you take, if I'm the problem and the podcast is the problem and creating TikToks is a problem, when that goes away, what's the what's the next thing that's going to be the problem? What's the next thing that's going to be the reason? Or what's the next thing that's going to be the excuse for her? I have a feeling that that's a situation that you're never going to be able to get out of or never be able to change, or I don't know what words I'm looking for. I just don't think that it's like a healthy situation to make it long lasting. It's just my opinion, but no. No, there's, as far as I know, they're still together, but um and I hope they stay together. I hope they fix the real problems and they can be happy together, because I want that for him. I just don't think, as it stands right now, the controlling everything the guy does and taking away his independency and taking away the things that he loves, I don't think that that's the fucking root of the problem. Do you get me? Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you're supposed to do. Build them up in their independency, their independent adventures. Oh yeah, I would always be there for him. I would always be there for him. I don't know where Charles is. I think that guy died or something like that. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't suck. It's gonna suck. But I didn't make that choice. I'm just choosing to go my way and just leave it alone. There's no sense in like trying to save him. That's not my battle to fight. They got to work on their issues together, and it would be awesome if they could do that and fix it and get it right. And it would be awesome if one of them wouldn't constantly blame everyone surrounding them for all of the problems that they refuse to fix within themselves. And if Debbie did that, that would be great. I just don't think that that's going to happen. yeah, that's the McDonald's Wi-Fi. You know how many times that I've fought with my fucking internet service and my internet service provider? It's like, it's the worst. It's the worst coverage I've ever had. I wish there was other options. Like right now, I think speaking of the devil. Speaking of the devil. Yeah. Yes. So it was the podcast, but someone definitely hacked the Wi-Fi. Right as soon as I talked about it, it was like, I know your IP address, you fuck. Went right in there and deleted that shit. Just took it right out. Just took it right out. No. It's so funny. Because it's the internet just said no. Don't want to do it. I think honestly, they are listening to me speak poorly about them. And then they were like, yeah, we'll show you. Take that shit right away. I do not believe anybody should be paying over $100 for internet service and then it not have connection. It's been my number one problem. I've always wanted to try the Google the Google stuff, but it's not available in my area. There's not too many, like in my little area, there's not too many like providers that are available. That's the problem. So you got to go, I think you kind of got to go with the best one, but I am currently not wearing pants. How did you know though? I thought that this was how you were always supposed to be on camera when you're on a computer with just a top on and no pants. It's got to be. There's other providers, like this one's just obviously like the fastest, got the biggest bandwidth, and it's like a gigabyte. It's a gigabyte, but I have too many fucking issues with it. But whatever. I don't know. Where did we leave off? I'm sorry I left you guys hanging. Wouldn't be an episode of the GWC Effect without technical difficulties. That's true. I don't know. I think Jesus could definitely save my internet. I do believe. I do believe that he could fix it. It's the one thing I got against God. Doesn't make everything work. Everything's got to be a test. Everything's got to be a struggle. It's just the internet. You could just plug it in and it could just work. That could be a thing, but it's not. It's not the way that it happens. I gotta try something. I haven't changed. I mean, I've talked about it. I've thought about it. They're like, no, we'll take the money off. We'll fix your problem. They'll come out. They'll check the wires. They'll put in brand new wires. And it's still a thing. Still a thing. So I just don't think that the service is great. But I don't know. I'm sure it's not exclusive to me. I'm sure that there's plenty of people out there that have internet service provider issues. Could just be the wiring in their house or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an electrician. I just do believe that if you're paying for a service, it should be a service that works. That's all. That's it. That's all I would require. Give me the speed that I'm paying for and make it work. I don't know, maybe I'm expecting too much. That could be a thing. Either way, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer all episode long. I just think I just wanted to be able to make it clear, make it obvious. Realistically, people are going to see that we're not on the podcast together, and then they're going to make their assumptions. So go get the truth from Debbie if she wants to talk about it, or if you have some questions that need answers. But yeah. All I can really speak to is what I know, and moving forward, I'm going to exit out of that situation myself, and I wish them nothing but the best. I just don't think that it's the best, and I don't know if it ever will be. But I'm pulling for them, and I hope that they fix it. But it is the end of an era. It's the end of an era. We made it an entire year. The podcast went an entire year. So, not to be a Debbie Downer, but some things just aren't meant to last forever, you know? And that's kind of part of life. It's kind of part of life. I wish it would have been different. Sure. But Something's never going to be. Yeah, last week, randomly in the middle of the night, I got a text from Jarek, and it was, "We can't be friends anymore, and the podcast is over." Then it turns out that was Debbie that was texting me. And then Jarek lost his phone privileges, and he lost access to everything. And then Debbie went on to delete all of his TikToks, deleted the Pod Warriors TikToks, then deactivated all the accounts. And then, yeah, I guess I got the blame for whatever. Oh yeah, I have no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets. We did that for his birthday. I was happy about it, and it was a good moment. It was a good moment. It's always going to be a memory that I'm going to hold on to. I'm not going to pretend like losing Jarek as a friend isn't going to suck or isn't going to hurt. That's not the case. But yeah, I can't change any of it. And if I'm a detriment and the podcast is a detriment to their relationship, I totally understand separating from it and getting your relationship back on the right path. And I totally support him getting the relationship back on the right path. The one thing that I would say is, like, it's never going to get better if there's a constant control factor over what the other person does. And Debbie needs to do some therapy. Sorry to be disrespectful to Debbie, but the fact of the matter is you can't control what your significant other does all the time and then think you're going to be in a relationship with someone that's happy. That's not the way that it works. And if that has worked out for her in the past, that's yet to be seen, because otherwise she wouldn't be where she is now. So, kind of is what it is. Outside of that, I just hope that they find whatever it is that they're looking for, and that they can move forward together and be happy, and fix their issues and work on that, and be out of the turmoil. I hope they become really strong or stronger. So. Wait, highlight what? I don't know what I'm supposed to highlight. That's wrong. It's probably the most disrespectful thing anybody has ever said. Now you're being a Debbie Downer. Yeah. It's a sad reality. It's a sad reality, but whatever. Whatever. Oh my God. See, that's why we're still talking about it, because everybody just came in late. Like, I announced that there would be an announcement at the beginning of the show, and then we could move on from it. But then everybody comes in so late, and then they got so many questions. Fucking blame Butters, dude. No, I'm just joking. I don't mind talking about it. I didn't really have anything that I was going to say, mostly. So yeah, I just wasted 40 minutes of everybody's time, and then 20 minutes of it was internet issues. So I really just wasted 20 minutes of everybody's time. Just kind of is what it is. Yeah. No, it's okay. Like I said, I'm just being awkward. But that's like my MO. last week I got a text message from Debbie from Jarek's phone, and it said that we're not allowed to be friends anymore and that the podcast was done. So moving forward, that's going to be the thing. Jarek's not going to be on the podcast anymore. We're not allowed to be friends anymore. I guess I was a detriment, and the podcast was a detriment to their relationship, and it was just holding them back. So now they're moving on to climbing Mount Everest. They're going to be climbing Mount Everest together. But as long as I'm not the bad weather that is keeping them from reaching the peak, they're going to reach the peak. So I'm happy to step away from that and be out of that situation so that they can be better together. I don't know. I don't know. It could be. I think it could be the M1 Atlas. I think that could be playing mind games on everybody. That's why everybody acts the way that they do on TikTok right now, because that thing's been flying around in outer space for how long? For how long? Honestly, they haven't, when we weren't friends, they've been in the best relationship that they've ever been in. Yeah. So now it'll just get better. Right? I mean, it has to. If I don't fight for it or chase the friendship and just let it go so that they can be happy, it's got to get better, right? Or am I just being naive? I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. He's just in a situation where the control is just not coming from him, and he's not allowed to be an individual. That sucks for him. No, because the problem in the relationship was definitely my friendship and the podcast and Jarek's TikToks and Jarek being an individual. That was the problem. That's the problem. You take all that away, it's instantly fixed. You take all that away, and it's instantly fixed. True. I don't know. Like I said, I wish nothing but the best for them. But it could, like, all the way that people act currently, like I said, could be the A1 Atlas or M1. What is it called? The M1, the Martian dinghy, the Martian spacecraft, whatever it is. I think that could be having an effect on everybody around here. It's like adding to the magnetic pool. I don't think that you're going to get that. She told me that he lost his phone privileges. So she deleted all of his stuff. All the TikToks. Because, like I said, TikTok, the podcast, and friendships outside of her is the problem. So what you could do is you could reach out to Debbie and you could see how everything goes. That's hurtful. Yeah, like I said, I think that it could be. I don't know. People are acting strange. I think that we all kind of are, but yeah, people are acting strange. And then the dependency gang that we fucking follow. So weird. Like I was just talking about it earlier today. Like back in the day, like the only one in here that's really going to know this is like Joey, Joe Bear. Oh, sorry. Never mind. I forgot that it was Butters. Butters is going to remember like the time whenever we didn't have cell phones and pre-pagers where all we did was ride our bikes, play hide and go seek outside. And now we are just nothing but kids that play on tablets and stay inside. So I realistically feel like times are just changed, and we as a society, as a species, become dependent on technology, so much so that technology just runs our entire lives. And we don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to use it as a tool instead of that. It's a dependency thing. Nah. Butters and I are y'all's elders. Stop it. Roxy might remember, because I think Roxy yelled at me one time for saying that I was an elder. So Roxy definitely remembers, riding bikes outside. All the rest of you are too young. No way. How old are you? I think that we do this before where everybody told their age. I remember. I'm just obviously joking, guys. But no, I do. And I the limiting thing, like I do that for my kids too. Like as much as I possibly can. But yeah. I'm 42. I'm 42, so we're close. Yeah, everybody's probably close in same age. That's probably why we get along so well, to be honest. But that's true. You definitely are old. Definitely are old. 54 next month. Congratulations. And happy early birthday. I'm probably going to be dead by the time that I'm 54. I make all the weirdest life choices. No, you're not. No, you're not. Susie told us everything about you. So who's telling the fucking truth? Show your ID. Yeah, so realistically, some of us wouldn't have been hanging out together because we weren't all in the same age group, so we wouldn't be in high school together. But yeah, we're all similar in age as an adult, so I think that's why we all get along for the most part. There's probably differences among the groups, but yeah, see what I'm saying? 5'10", and she's like 47. 47. Oh, it was 36. I swear it was older. But I don't remember. I did too. My brother was 5 years older than me, and I hung out with him and all of his friends. Absolutely terrifying. I've seen your karaoke. That word's too big. You got to use smaller words. Got to use smaller words. This is not the podcast for an intellectual conversation. Anybody is welcome to be here. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows where it goes from here? Nobody wants to sit up here and listen to me talk for an hour. Okay, by myself, first of all. But second of all, I also don't really care. Like, I'm not trying to get. I've never cared about like it's a popularity contest for me. Like, obviously, I had this to talk about, and it was fresh on my mind. So, that's what we ended up talking about. That's what I ended up talking about the most. Because for me, like it just really, really sucks to see a friend like Jarek was to me, a brother to me. It sucks to see him in that situation. And I don't, well, obviously I have talked shit about it, so I can't say that I don't want to. because obviously I have my feelings about it. But like the realistic nature of it is like I don't want to see him unhappy. You know, I want to see them blossom and grow. And if that's who makes him happy, I mean, they're married for God's sakes. So yeah, I want them to succeed. I just don't think that it's definitely not in a great area. And I don't think that Charles and a podcast and making TikToks is the problem. I don't think that's the problem. So in my mind, they got a lot to work on. Mainly though, as individuals, they got a lot to work on. If they're going to succeed and they want to succeed, they got to fix that. That's got to be it. So well, I mean, we can do that right now. We got like 10 minutes. If you want to have a debate, we absolutely can. I can't. I can't do this right now. I'm not having a good time. I honestly, I think that would be that'd be a good thing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like sometimes you just got to chalk it up to, well, we tried. We tried. It's not it. It's not it. We gave it one hell of a shot. Gave it one hell of a shot. I'm sure he is. They just seriously are going. I'm making some stupid jokes and I have some commentary that's probably going to make it so much worse in the long run. It is what it is. I'm allowed to have my opinions and my feelings on it. Like I said, losing a friend like that sucks, but then also at the same time, like I have to be honest. The podcast and Charles is not the problem. So I'm also not gonna be the person to sit around and just be like, okay, I'm taking the blame, because it's not anything that I could have changed. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lie to myself or literally lie to anybody else. I think that they've got some problems. They've got some issues. They need to work on them. They need to work on their individual problems and then come together and work on their problems as a couple. And then climb Mount Everest. You know, what did you miss? The announcement at the beginning of the show was last week. I got a text message from Debbie. It says that Jarek and I are not allowed to be friends, and he's also not allowed to be on the podcast anymore. That's the only thing that you missed. And then we talked about it for like 30 minutes, and then my internet took a dump, and then I came back, and you guys were still here. So that says a lot more about you than it says about me. Y'all are weird people. Weird people. And again, like, I don't know. I didn't really it's not like I ever really prepare anything in the first place. Sometimes I just talk about things that I've been talking about through the week. You know, like the last couple of times that I was on by myself and had something to talk about, it was because conversations that I've had all week or 2 weeks or whatever, and it was fresh on my mind. So it was a talking point that I wanted to address and like have a conversation about or whatever. You know, it's unscripted. It's unscripted, but sometimes I got things that I want to say. I didn't really have anything. I just wanted to announce it. I wanted to get realistically. I mean, people are going to see, they're going to notice that we're not friends on TikTok. They're going to notice that we're not going to be doing the podcast together. So they're going to have their assumptions. They're going to have their assumptions. They're going to have their talking points. I just wanted to be honest. Just wanted to be honest and speak my mind on it. Yeah, she was totally against that, by the way, and she didn't even go. She didn't even go. She was totally against it. It's okay. That's a memory that I'm going to be able to take with me to my grave. It was a good time for me. I loved every minute of it. But yeah. Yep. It's a good memory. I'm going to be able to take it with me wherever I go. That's that. I'm happy that I done it. I'm happy that I spent that time with him. I'm happy that we did it together on his birthday and got these tattoos. I'm going to be able to take that to my grave. I don't want to lose Jarek as a friend, but I'm not the problem in their relationship. So until they fix their relationship and they fix themselves as individuals, they can't put the blame on me. I think it's all her induced, and it's a way of her controlling literally everything that he does. So and that sucks. I just want that. I just want him to be happy. I I don't give a fuck how happy Debbie is. I don't think anything or anyone can make that person happy, but it is what it is. Yeah, she deleted it. And then she deleted the Pod Warriors TikTok too. And if she had full access to the podcast, she would have deleted that too. I'm very sure of that. I'm very sure of that. But yeah, no, that's a big problem. You know, sorry that it's coming from me, and I'm sorry that I'm the one that's talking about it. No, she's allowed to have TikTok, but he's not. She's allowed to have social media, but he's not. She's allowed to be a free person, but he's not. She has to control everything he does. And that's perfectly okay. And then she's allowed to get on the internet and she's allowed to talk crap about their relationship in vague ways and post about it on TikTok. She pretends like nobody can tell that that's what she's doing, but that's everybody can see. Then she can definitely, make posts about her saying that he doesn't love her, and she can take off her wedding ring. But yeah, it's weird stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to allow it to be my problem or like I'm the detriment to the relationship. I can see that. I guess this is the thing, right? You're in a relationship with somebody. One of your significant other's friends are super, super, super fucking toxic, and all they're doing is making your significant other the worst versions of themselves. They're out drinking all the time. They're breaking into banks and stealing money and all that kind of stuff. But just doing a podcast with them and talking about things that you disagree with isn't a detriment to your relationship. So this type of situation is one of those things where it's like you can't take any ownership for your problems. So you have to start blaming everything else. And I said it earlier where you take my friendship away, you take the podcast away, you take TikTok away, you take all of his individuality away. What next is the problem? What next is going to be his fault? Because I don't think that he is never going to have the fault. I think that it's going to be her always blaming him and always putting it on him instead of fixing herself. Yeah. She has. That has a lot to do with it too. That has a lot to do with it too. That's also what I said earlier. I was like, you can't take everything that he is as a person away. The things that you liked about him, take all of it away, and then go, I'm happy to be with somebody that's depressed and unhappy, because that's clearly what's going on there. You can take everything away from the guy, and then you've molded him into the person you want him to be, and then you're like, oh shit, well now he's not doing anything. Now he's not doing anything. So now what else do I have to blame? I just think that it's still going to be. I've been in a relationship like that. I don't know, maybe all of us have. We're all approaching our 40s. We're all in our 40s. You mean to tell me that we've never been with somebody that's done stuff like this to us? Whether it was a coach, whether it was a teacher, whether it was a partner, whether it was a brother, a sister, whether it was a mom, whether it was a dad, whether it was a significant other. We've had somebody in our lives that tried to control everything about us and then still end up hating everything about us. Nothing you can do will satisfy people like that. It is. It's emotional manipulation. It's emotional abuse. There's no other way to cut it. It is what it is. And I mean, I know that I'm going to be the bad guy for speaking about it first. I know that I'm going to be the bad guy for saying it and feeling how I feel about it. But I truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, hope that they work on their problems as an individual and then work on their relationship problems. And then they find a way to make it work and be completely happy with each other. Because that's what I want. I want that more than I want anything, or more than I care about anything else. I don't want to lose the friendship. I don't want, that to be the end of it. However, if he's happy and they can find a way to be happy, that's all I care about at the end of the day. And I told him as much. I said, I'm okay with whatever he chooses and whatever he wants, but I'm also not the type of guy to not speak my mind. I can't ever be that way. I mean, at the end of the day, that's my brother. So I feel the way that I feel about it. I'm going to say what I want about it. And if it hurts people's feelings, it just hurts people's feelings. I'm not going to apologize for that. I don't know if this podcast alone makes me a good friend. Like, I should have just kept my mouth shut and just should have kept it simple. Like, Jarek and I are moving on to a different scenario and we're not going to be on a podcast together. I could have just said that simply. I didn't have to talk shit about his wife, but I have to, because it's a situation that I don't feel comfortable with. It's a problem that I don't feel good about. And it's not all Jarek's fault, and blaming him and putting it all on him and then never taking any ownership for your own problems. That's a controlling relationship. That's emotional manipulation. That's emotional abuse. And I'm sorry, you're never going to be able to change my mind about that. And I hope she works on herself, because that's the only way she's going to be happy. Sorry. The drinking your fucking life away is not the fix to your problem. Working on your problems and then being in a happy, committed relationship where you both feed off of each other, you support each other, you boost each other up instead of tearing each other down. That's what's going to be the best thing for her. So my intention is I'm going to keep this one. It's not always going to be like this. This was just fresh on my mind, so I'm speaking about it. Moving forward, I'm still going to have this one. Liz and I are going to have one ourselves. We're working on a couple things right now. We've been talking about it. We've already got the channel made. We are going to be on a podcast together. We're going to do that. I don't know if it's going to be every week or bi-weekly. That's something else we're still toying with. And by the end of the year, we're going to have all that figured out. And we'll most likely have a couple episodes out by then, too. We're going to have a couple episodes out by then. And then we're going to have some videos filmed. It's going to be like a vlogging channel, too. We're going to take people along with some of our adventures. Or at least that's my thought process on what I want. It's still going to be a place where people can connect with us if they choose to connect with us. And if they don't want to connect with us, that's also fine too. I mean, just is what it is. I just know that there's friendships on TikTok that we have, that we love, that we enjoy. That yeah, that's where we're going. But yeah, we're just bored with social media in general, and we want to get rid of it. We want to start loving each other and living life together instead of living life for the internet and being dependent upon it. But that doesn't mean that we don't want to take our friends with us or stay connected to our friends. Everybody's welcome to just, like I said, they can have my phone number. We're obviously still going to keep like Facebook and things like that. There's too many memories that we have on there. So you can look me up on Facebook, talk to me on there if you want, whatever, Doesn't mean that we're walking away from people that we love. Just means that we're walking towards each other and being with each other in the end, living life outside of social media and just being away from it. We're bored with it. We're done with it. We're tired of being dependent upon it. We're just making a move. For the most part, though, we also still love, making content, which is the whole purpose behind having a YouTube channel in the first place. There might only be 5 people that ever watch it, but to us, that's fine. What else were we talking about? I don't remember. I know that I saw a comment that I wanted to address or talk about, but I don't remember now. Oh. I mean, I kind of am. Like I said, it's not really my place to talk about their relationship. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like a jerk about anything. I'm just trying to be honest, right? Like people are going to see it, right? People are going to see that we're not friends on TikTok. And then, they're going to make their assumptions about it because that's what people do. They're always invested in your lives. They're going to have questions just by the fact that he doesn't have a TikTok. They're going to have all those questions. And then to the people that's going to show up here and see that he's no longer here, because I'm still going to continue to do this podcast. I like doing it. So I'm going to do it anyway. Whether I film it or I do it live and interact with the people that come in, whatever, I still enjoy doing it. So I'm going to continue to do it. So people are going to see it. People are going to have their opinions. They're going to have questions. They're going to have all that kind of stuff. So I'm always been open and honest and been straightforward. And that's just who I am. That is coming back. It is closed for construction. Simply because we're making a change there, but that's not going away forever. That will definitely still be around. I know that people have been talking about that and they've had some things to say, but yeah, the t-shirts are still going to be a thing. We're just revamping it. We're changing the look of the page. We're taking away some of the other things because while we're leaving social media, we have to make changes there too. Like has to be a new look, a new structure. We're going to do things that we want, and it's going to be, it's going to be something for us. Come along with us. Don't. I mean, if the end of the year is the end of the friendships for a lot of us too, I mean, I don't want it to be, but I also totally understand. I'm not gonna hate anybody for making that decision and that choice. You're definitely not obligated to follow us around on whatever podcasts or YouTube we're gonna be on. We're just done with it. Just done with it. Moving on to bigger and better things. And there's a lot of things that we want to experience as a couple. There's a lot of things that we want to do in general. But yeah, this was a big thing. We took it down so that we could revamp it because there's a lot of things on there related to Pod Warriors. And obviously I don't know if I can even change the name on the YouTube channel. I most likely would, because that's something that we were, Jarek and I worked on together, and I'm going to keep it moving forward, obviously. But yeah, I wanted it to be an us thing. That's why we started it. That's why we created it. So that's totally untrue, but I totally appreciate the compliment and the vote of confidence. You know what I mean? All I can be is me. But yes, we are working. This is in the works too. It's going to be insane. There's plenty of people out there right now that are doing tarot readings and witchcraft on TikTok that have no idea what they're doing. And it is fucking hilarious. It's fucking absolute gold. There was a tarot reading that was done on Liz and I. Okay? I'm sure some of you know. I'm sure some of you have seen it. There was a tarot reading that was done on us. And it literally said there's an end to a cycle. And we totally announced that we're leaving the cycle. So you're absolutely right. That was our reading. It was totally our reading. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, dude. I know what that means, but do you know what it means? I know that I'm the tarot reader, but you tell us what it means. You tell us. That was the funniest shit. That was the funniest shit. And the fact that there was a lady on TikTok, Susanna Stinger, you have no friends. And that's what's hilarious to me is you shared a video wearing someone's period blood on your face. And you shared it 50 times. And not a single person told you that this doesn't say what you think that it's going to say, and you should probably take this video down or not post it. That is crazy to me, dog. I've laughed about that. I've laughed about that, and I've cried about it so fucking much. Because at the end of the day, like, I've had like a long history on TikTok, a long history on TikTok. That is the funniest fucking video I've ever fucking seen. I've ever seen. You put someone's period blood on your face as a gotcha. Dog, you got it. You got it yourself. I don't know. Obviously, that's not going to compute, and you're never going to be able to convince me otherwise. But some people are retarded, and that's why she's the head R word. She's the head R word. Butters, bro. Like, yeah, if you can join me anytime you want. You got to be on time though, because you have a fucking problem with being on time. So, I don't know. I'd be lying if like I said, I'd be lying if I said that I don't want it to turn into a different direction. And Jarek and I are friends, and we have a podcast together. But I mean, yeah, I just want them to figure out their problems, and I want them to work on things and be better for it. And if that means that I have to step away, or they want me to step away, and it's like a force thing, or it's like a mutual understanding, whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna stand in the way of that. I hope that they fix it. Hope that they fix it. But yeah, she is our HR, our head R word. Liz is blocked, bro. Liz is blocked, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Ooh, Danny, mute her. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Yeah. I mean, it's been boiling up for quite some time. On camera, everybody could see the fights and the awkwardness and all that kind of stuff. I've had several people come to me and ask me about it. It's not mine to speak on. I'm speaking on my portion of it because my portion of it is my portion of it. But I also have an announcement to make. I've been told people think I've spent too much time making AI videos. To clear the air, I didn't make them. They were sent to me, and I just hit post. Thank you for clearing the air on that. I think that the AI videos are hilarious. So, like, listen to me, okay? There's plenty of people that I hate and that I disagree with, okay? That I don't really, some of the things that they post aren't funny. But then there are some things that I absolutely find funny. The funniest to me is when somebody takes a video that I put out or a clip from the podcast or a clip from whatever. They take my original content and they try to make me look bad. Bitch, I said that. I said it, and I would do it and say it again. I don't care what that makes me look like, and I don't care what your opinion on what I look like is, right? I'm not going to take advice from somebody that I wouldn't take criticism from, and I'm not going to take criticism from somebody I wouldn't take advice from. That's not going to compute. So, yeah, I don't take anything that anybody says personally. I'm also 40 years old. Okay, well, I'm 42. I'm 42 years old. I'm 230 pounds. I'm 4'11", and I'm bald. These are things that I can't change about me, but these are also things that I don't look in the mirror and go, fuck. I wish I was 6'8", 120 pounds, and had a full head of hair. I don't care about shit like that. I don't care. Some people are like so infatuated with how they look and their own appearance, and that's a self-esteem issue. I don't have that. I don't have that problem. I also don't have a lack of confidence problem. You can ask anyone that met me or has met me off of the app. I'm literally the same person in person that I am on the app. I don't have a confidence problem. I don't have an ego problem, and I'm not arrogant. I also will say whatever I want, do whatever I want, and there's nothing anybody has done about it or will do about it. So I'm going to continue being me, and nothing anybody says on the fucking internet, specifically TikTok, is ever going to change that about me. Never. So. Yeah, that is true. I guess I'm wrong. I guess I am wrong. I'm actually a little bit worse in person because like on TikTok you got to worry about, bans and your videos coming down, so you got to filter yourself. So you're right. Yeah. It was just a joke. I just don't, that type of stuff doesn't bother me. Like I'm not shallow in that sense. Like just not shallow in that sense. I don't that stuff never has bothered me. I never looked up to somebody where I was like, damn, I wish I looked like them, or damn, I wish I was them, or damn, I wish I was rich as them, or I wish I was as smart as them. That's not me. I'm an individual. I keep it moving forward. I keep it pushing. I'm a hardworking individual. I'm loyal as fuck, and that's it. So I'm not changing for anybody. Yeah, I've done the whole gym thing. I've done the whole gym thing. I'm not saying that I wasn't healthier 10 years ago. Of course I was, but I'm also not unhappy with who I am or how I look. I don't this is the type of shit that doesn't bother me. I don't sit around in my bed late at night crying with my fucking head in a pillow, worried about what I look like. It's never happened. Never happened. I think we all get there, realistically. 40 pounds over? Bro, that's because your wife cooks too much food and you're happy eating, bro. That's the problem. That's the problem. Jam. It is what it is. But all right, we're at an hour and 20 minutes. I think I've talked all your heads off. You're probably tired of listening to me complain and cry about a friendship. So until we meet again, you know what I mean? Until we meet again. I'm still going to be here every week. So it is what it is. We over here keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Red, you're late. You're late. Show's already over, bro. Show's already over. All right. Love y'all's faces. See y'all next week.
I'm fucking sorry, was this not your fucking expectation? Were you looking for a little less imagination? In case you didn't fucking notice, I don't give a shit. Bill, I don't like your style. Get over it. You got fucking issues? I can't fucking solve them. Here's a fucking tissue, now it's not my fucking problem. Fuck.